Hello, my crafty friends. It's Andrea from Prairie Sky Paper Crafts, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Manitoba. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is launch day. So we're starting the launch party with a live demonstration. It's being streamed to my business Facebook page as well as YouTube. Now, after this event, we will be going over to my public Facebook page for about an hour's worth of fun games and prizes. But I wanted to start today with a little bit of crafty inspiration. I am using the, what is this, Sweetest Christmas designer series paper. I've also got the Gnome's dies, and the stamp set that we're going to be using today is Kindest Gnomes. Now I'm going to do 3 levels. We're going to do a quick and easy card, then we're going to step it up a little bit, and then we're going to step it up even a little bit more. Hey Celine, I hope you have a great day today. So yeah, let's get started. Now my intention for this was to show something for all levels of crafters. So if you've never made a card before, you can totally do this. If you have a craft room, I love the gnomes too. If you have a craft room or a fairly well-stocked craft room, you can create. And if you're just starting out, we can also do something with that. Now, I think I'm going to choose this one. It's kind of Christmassy, but not overly Christmassy. It is hot in my craft room today. Now, when I create designer series paper mats, I like to do 1/4 inch smaller than what my card base layer is. So my card bases are typically 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So these guys are going to be 4 by 5 1/4. Which is perfect because then you get 3 perfectly sliced bits for the 3 cards that we're going to make. So yeah, let's get started. Now the coordinating colors are listed on the back of each designer series paper pack. They're also listed in the catalog under the paper. So for this one, my choices are Garden Green and Real Red, and I'll be using both. I've also got our card bases cut here. Haven't decided on bling yet. And actually, let's see what we've got over here. As is typical in my craft room, I'm never fully organized and ready to go. What I think I don't know. We'll find it as we move along. All right, so let's get started. We are going to begin with our quick and easy card. So for this, all you're going to need is a stamp set, a paper trimmer, and some adhesive, and bling. If you, you know what, stretch. We'll use this guy. These are the In Color matte dots. And I'm almost out because I love them so much. Okay, so I've cut a few extra bases. So I'm going to fold my base first. Actually, we're going to do all 3. And then I'm also going to use our basic white to do some coloring. And also probably some die cutting. Okay. Now, typically, when I am stamping, I like to stamp and then cut. Because while you can measure, the measuring is fairly quick and easy. It's, I find, a little bit easier and a little bit better, for me anyway, to be able to go and get a precise measure. You know what? You know me so well is the sentiment that we are going to use. Now I'm going to show you, whoops, a little bit of a trick with the stickers too. Now, until very recently, I didn't put a ton of stickers onto my stamps because it was a little bit challenging. And I was terrified that I was going to not place my stuff on properly. So this is what we're going to do. You peel the sticker off, you grab your stamp, and then you hover it over the outline, stamp it down, pull it up. Got to take the sticker off the back of the stamp first. I make the mistakes, so you guys don't. All right. Now it works, and my computer just slid and craft a lunch at the 11-minute mark. No major surprise there. Okay, and this guy is the one that's sitting, so we're going to apply the sticker the same way. Now, for the stickers on the back of the stamp, you can keep them for masking. It's like this little mushroom shape. If I wanted to put something in front, I would keep this guy over in my case so that I can stamp over it and then make it look kind of 3D. Okay, and then we're just going to stick this guy. Now, if at any time you have any questions, you can pop them in the comments here. I will only see your name if you've granted StreamYard permission to do so. But when I go back and look on Facebook, I'll be able to see who asked what question. Okay. So move these guys off to the side, grab our memento. Because I am going to be coloring with my Stampin' Blends, which are the alcohol markers, later on, I am just stamping in memento. So this is going to be a quick and easy black and white card. I'm going to set this guy about there. Now, it is really easy just to color this really with anything. You can color it with markers, pencil, crayons, alcohol markers, watercolor markers. The possibilities are really endless. Okay, you know me so well. Stick that guy back in our case so we don't lose them. Because if you have been around for any length of time, you will know that things go missing on a regular basis as I'm working with them. Okay, and then we're just going to do this. So when you're cutting, if you see any ink in your cutting gutter, you're going to cut that off. So we're just going to move it down so we don't see any ink here. I've got it lined up at the 2-inch mark. And we've got ink, but that's okay. We're going to fix it. Now we're going to assemble our card. I think we'll do the stripes. So if you wanted to, you could totally measure to make sure it's centered. I generally go for centered-ish. We'll put our little gnome guy. Now, if you are an experienced crafter and you want to do this layout, and you kind of want to step it up a little bit, you absolutely can. I would do that by adding a little bit of maybe a layer of color behind. So make it about 1/4 inch larger. I'm going to baby wipe this off my fingers so I can get ink everywhere and on all of the cards today. You can also run it through a die machine if you want to, just to get a little bit of different pattern for your base. Now, here we go. We're going to hide these, and we're going to use a Sweet Sorbet. Which is also a coordinating color. So there you go. I'm going to bring this down a little so you can see a bit better. So there is card number 1. Super, super fast. Well, relatively. Now, I've been at this for a while, so I tend to be fairly quick, But, oh, thanks, Mary Louise. I love this paper too. It's not a race. There's no prize for finishing first. It's all about creating and enjoying the journey. And even if you're not creative, you can still make a quick and easy card. Excuse me. All right. So now we're going to step it up just a little bit. And we're going to bring in some coloring. We are going to do, let's see. You know what? I haven't used the girl gnome yet. We're going to use her. And put our sticker on exactly the same way that we did our last one. And then I'm going to bring in the blends. Blends, as I mentioned earlier, are alcohol markers, but you can use anything that you want. However, I will preface that by saying there are different inks that work better with some stamp sets. Now, get her lined up. If you're using anything alcohol based, you want to use Memento Tuxedo Black. It is a dye ink. It is fade resistant and it will stand the test of time. A couple of weeks ago on my YouTube channel, I did a comparison of using the Memento ink versus the Stampin', the classic stamp pads, the Stampin' Up pads. Now they did work in a pinch, but the ink did kind of pull out a little bit. Memento definitely gave a better impression, but you can use the classic pads if you don't have anything else in a pinch. You do not want to use Memento or the classic if you're using anything water-based. Thank you, Mary Louise. Totally unexpected sneeze there. So for anything water-based, you want to use StazOn because it won't bleed into your project. And for anything alcohol-based, you want to use Memento. All right, so we've got our little scrap here. So we're going to use our girl. And then we're going to grab our blends in a sec. Now I will be cleaning these stamps off when I'm done. I forgot to rehydrate. See your kindness. Putting stamps together has made it, I've gotten really, really good at reading backwards. Your kindness. Oh my gosh, it's like a fishbowl in here today. I love my big window, but it does heat up really quickly. Now, Celebration is also on until the end of August, and Celebration gives you freebies with every 60 or 120 purchased before tax and shipping. I'm going to do this, but it's not staying this way. And if you are in Canada and would like to shop with me, I can absolutely get you a catalog. They should actually, my new catalogs, I need to order more, should be delivered today. Fingers crossed. So if you would like some, just let me know and I will get it into the mail for you. All right, now we're going to color our girl. Use that. I think we'll do, she'll have green and we'll give her, oops. What color is this? Shade of light spruce maybe. And what color are we going to do her shoes? So maybe we'll do her shoes gray. All right. See where we end up with that. I'm going to stick our markers over there so they're easier to grab. And then we're going to start. So with the neutrals, the higher the number, the lighter the color. these guys are absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy that I got them. Now, I typically like to color in a circle. It's a little bit darker than I thought it was going to be. That's all right, we can fix it. Just because it hides the marker lines. So if you go over with a lighter color, it does lighten up the ink a little bit, and they do blend really, really nicely. If I'm doing something typically with more than one color, I'll go over the lightest and then medium and then dark and then back over with the light just to make sure that it's going to do what I want it to do. And also, you can build up color with just one single marker. I mean, the darker, try that again. They do come in a 2-pack, so light and dark. So you will always have both colors available to you. But sometimes, and I'll show you in just one second what I mean. I'm just going to finish coloring this here. I'm using the fine tip just because I find that it has better control for me. If I'm doing a larger area though, I will use the brush tip. And you do want to make sure that you get close to the line, but not necessarily right over top of the line, because you can get a bit of a bleed happening. Now, if you do get a bleed, it's not a big deal. You can use the color lifter. I love the color lifter, but I don't typically use it a ton. Now, the reason that I don't use it a ton is that I find sometimes it can actually make your paper bleed a little bit, and it pulls the color away, but it's perfect for fixing little mistakes. So you can see as I'm adding the color, it is getting a little bit darker in the spots that I'm going over repeatedly. I'm just going to leave her like that. I chose Bermuda. Yeah, we'll do Bermuda Bay for her outfit. They don't have to be 100% matchy-matchy. Plus, it's summer, and I think Bermuda Bay is a lovely summer shade. Do her buttons a different shade, though. Maybe. And her apron, there's not very much to color on her because her hair takes up quite a bit of her body. Oops. I think that's part of her too. There we go. And then we'll just dab a little bit of Old Olive for her button and her belt. There we go. And you know what? Her mitts will be Old Olive too. Oh, excuse me. Sneezes and then a runny nose. Okay, hair's next with the darker. When you're using your blends, you want to make sure, oh, hey, Elaine, I hope you're having a good day today. You do want to make sure that when you're using your blends, when you put them back, you hear a snap. Because they are alcohol and it will evaporate, you want to make sure that it's not going to dry out. They do last a very long while. You do need to make sure that you store them horizontally, so that the fluid in the barrel stays where it should. And that one of the ends doesn't dry out faster than the other. I'm just going to do a little bit of kind of make it easier to see some highlight and some dimension and definition in her hair. Oh, I forgot to do the end. That's all right. When I'm coloring, it never fails. I always miss one spot. So going back is something that I do frequently, which is also why I usually keep my colors on my desk until I'm done so that I can see where I need to go back and color. Okay, so there, I'm going to go over her face again. I don't really like how that's blending. That's the other thing too with the Stampin' Blends. You can go over it. Looks like she's got a bit of a sunburn on her chin. And keep manipulating the colors until you get something that you're happy with. It will bleed through to the other side, but typically you're going to be layering it on top of something else anyway. So this isn't going to matter. I'm going to do red elastic in her hair. This is Cherry Cobbler. And then we're just going to do her shoes and then we're done. Now you can I love the gnomes because it's Christmas, it's summer, it's fall. You can, depending on the colors that you use these guys for any season really. Okay, so I'm done with these for now. Set that off to the side. I did that one. I guess this is looking kind of Christmassy with the colors that I've chosen, but it's fine. We're going to do, we're going to do that. We're going to do red and green, and then we're going to trim, and we're going to be creating a mat. So this is our slightly stepped up card. So we're going to cut our sentiment first. And then we're just going to trim our girl a little bit. Now I will keep these little bits of basic white for little flags or highlights under something, or even little tester strips for whatever it is that I'm trying to create. So this is 1.5 inches by 2.5. So we're going to do an 1.5 inches. Oh, that's not 1.5 inches. Is it? I suppose it is. Okay. So I'm upping it by 1/4 inch. So 2 3/4 by 1 3/4 for our layer. And then this one, we're going to go, let's see. We're going to do it 3/4 inch, but we're going to do the entire 4 1/4 for this one. And now we assemble. So again, I feel like I should have put my hair up in a ponytail today. It is warm in here. So I do hope that you pop over to the event. Again, I will be posting the link after I'm done. The prizes and that will be open until Saturday. Give you guys lots of time to comment and check it out. So I know it's busy and it's beautiful outside and everybody wants to be out in this lovely weather today. I feel like I should have turned the air conditioner on in here. Okay, so we're going to do this. Now, I do have a plan for that. It's not going to stay that way. And again, because this is a slightly stepped up card, you can add extra bling. You can use die cuts. You can use a punch. Really, whatever you would like to do. Now, I am going to make a tag, but I'm going to trim it a little. So we're just going to go roughly to the center, roughly to the center. And then we're just going to trim it. One more little bit, I think. So we've got a little flag. We're going to put the flag off to that side. Kind of tuck it underneath of her. You can also use dimensionals if you wanted to. I'm just laying everything flat. All right, so card number 2. Now card number 3, we are going to step it up. And it's going to be kind of more of a summery theme. And I'm not going to bother with the stickers for this time around. So we've got our little house and use this, oops, use this guy. I've got the stamps sitting over there on my laptop and the sun is hitting my laptop. Stamps are getting warm. Okay. There we go. And we're going to grab our dies. We're going to grab our big shot. And we're hopefully not going to lose our blends in a craft lunch. Not terribly optimistic that it's going to work, but we'll see. Okay. So I've got my plates. I'm going to move this up because I'm using the big shot today. So there's, oh, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do some grass, but probably not. Okay, so we've got our mushroom. I'm always worried that this is going to come flying off. It never does. And the dies have never broken. But there's always, in my head, there's always a first time for everything. But if anything ever happened, Stampin' Up! Is amazing with their customer service. All right. So that's how our dies are going to sit. You can color them first if you want to. I'm going to color them after the fact. Get our stuff out of the way. Now, if you have the Stampin' Emboss on the die plate, the main one, the base plate, I should say, it does show you exactly the sandwiches that you need, which makes it really, really easy. So I'm using a die. I need number 1, number 2, and 2 number 3s. So number 3, my plates are very well loved. Excuse me. Now, you can't see what I'm doing, but I am lining up to make sure that it's going to do exactly the cut that it needs to. Then I like to put the next plate in at an angle just to make sure that it's not going to disturb what I've already placed. I'm going to back this up just a smidgen. Place it down. And then plate the next plate, exactly the same thing. Push it in at an angle. I'm also holding my plate down so that it doesn't shift and then give it a bit of a shove. And then you want to move your handle the way that you want your plates to go. Don't worry about the crack. Typically, a single pass is enough to cut everything, but because I don't have a ton of room, I went forward and back. And then, through the magic of TV, there's our cutout pieces. And then we've got our die cut bits there. So I'm going to fold this guy up. I love the fact that the cut and emboss machine folds up so quickly and so easily. All right, so now we're going to color. Actually, we're not. We're going to put our dies back because there's nothing more frustrating than wanting a die and not being able to use your dies. Okay. Not sure what I'm going to do with this yet, but we're going to color first. So, yellow for the lantern. This color. I don't want petal pink. We'll use some of the same colors that we used before. I think we're going to use blues for him though. And do blue on the mushroom house too. What else do I need? This hair is going to be kind of grayish. His boots are going to be brown. The top of our mushroom. Crumb cake. There we go. All right, we've got our colors mostly sorted out. Now we color. If we can find our guy under everything that we've just created. Now this guy's going to be a little bit summery. I think that you're right. It's the dies, Mary Louise, oh my gosh, try this again. The tape that they use to secure the dies is super, super sticky, but it tends to loosen over time a bit. Now I'm going to show you. The color lifter. Giving him a bit of a gray beard. Not a bit of a gray beard. He's definitely got a gray beard. And then we're just going to lift some of the color. And because I want it to be wispy, I'm going to use the brush tip. Now, because you're lifting color, you want to make sure that the last color that you use does not come off. So I want this to be like a super soft gray. So I'm just going over. And again, remember, we don't want to do a ton of lifting because I don't want it to start to smear and smudge. But you can see the areas that I've gone over repeatedly are definitely lighter. The areas that I haven't quite touched as much are not. Okay, I think we're good. But you can see that it's starting to pull a little bit into his hand. I'll move that down a bit so you can see it better. It's starting to pull a little bit into where his hand is and a little bit into the lantern, which is why I waited until I was done this to add more color. Okay, so our lantern, the reason I chose blue and not black for the lantern was because I wanted to make sure that it was going to go exactly where I wanted it. And also because if we do black, you're not going to be able to see the lines as much. Okay, this is light Night of Navy. And then we're going to use balmy blue for his mitt and hat. Sorry for the camera jiggle. We're going to do the same thing that we did for our girl's hat. We're going to just layer up the colors a little. If you don't have the dies, you can absolutely fussy cut too. Now, the paper that coordinates with this is really, really cute. I just don't have any of the stuff left that I can die cut because I've already gone through quite a bit. You know, I like a paper when it's what, 2 weeks, not even a week into the new catalog, and I've already used pretty much an entire pack. Okay. So there's our guy. We got to do his nose and his shoes yet. I think shoes will do gray as well. Smoky slate. But because we've lightened up the beard, it's going to look a different color. Oops. And then his nose, we're going to do 900. Kind of wish that these had color names and not just numbers. All right, so there we go. There's our gnome done. Onto the house. Now for the highlight areas, we're going to use the light Night of Navy again. Oops. Yeah, we'll do this blue too. And the door. Screech. Like nails on chalkboard. Sorry about that. I don't think I've ever had the blends squeak like that. I'll do a crumb cake on the door. Now this one I'm not doing in circles. I'm doing straight up and down just to copy the way that the boards are going. And then we'll grab the darker color for the doorknob. You could use a gem for the doorknob to make it 3D if you wanted to. And then we'll do crumb cake for the body of the mushroom too. Do this part more crumb cake. Too many choices this morning. And we'll go over with the slightly darker. Kind of wisp it a little bit. Do the full length here. A little bit of highlight there. A little bit of highlight there. And then we'll go over it again with the crumb cake just to blend it in a bit. I don't know, there's days that I feel like I can color for hours and hours and hours. Today feels like it's going to be one of those days. I'm going to come into my craft room after my air conditioner has been on a bit and cooled off. There we go. And then all we have left to do, yeah, we'll do balmy blue for the roof. I don't know. This kind of reminds me of the Smurfs too a little bit. switch to the brush end. Now, when you use the brush end, you want to make sure that you're not applying too terribly much pressure because you don't want it to fray. I'm just going to go very gently around the bottom. Just highlight that tiny little bit. Okay, and then go over with the same color just to give it a little bit of definition and highlight. Now, I haven't used one of my favorite things yet, so I'm going to do it on the windows. Wink of Stella is glitter perfection. It's glitter in a pen shape. It gives a little bit of shimmer and shine without putting glitter absolutely everywhere. And it doesn't react with the blends either because this is water-based. It might pull some of the memento, but the area that I used is so tiny that it really doesn't make an impact at all. All right, now we're going to do our card. Yeah, we're going to use that side. It's a little festive. And then we're going to use some dimensionals on this one, I think. Maybe use bigs. The dimensionals come in two different sizes, regular, which are these ones, and then the minis. The minis are perfect for small little pieces, or when you just need a little bit of a lift. Now you can also cut these guys. So if you need something that's particularly tiny, you can absolutely cut these. And there's an outer rim, I guess. I also cut that down when I am done. Now I want my gnome to stand up a little bit higher than our house. So I'm going to use double dimensionals. I've successfully stacked 3 high. If I've done 4, it doesn't seem to stick as well. So we've got 2, so you can see that he's standing just a little bit higher. If you are concerned about people seeing your dimensionals, you can absolutely color them. Stamp and blends work well. You can also use the Step and Write markers. I haven't had as much success with them, but they will work in a pinch. All right. So we're done with that. We're just going to figure out the sentiment. I don't usually put sentiments on, but today I feel like it needs to. Oh, you know what? We'll use warm wishes because this can totally be used for a housewarming card. And we're going to do our sticker on this one because it's a tiny little sentiment and I want to make sure that it's placed properly. And again, you can amp this up however you want. Run it through your die cut machine like I did. You can use an embossing folder for the back of it. You can, what else can you do? Add gems and bling and ribbon and really whatever makes your heart happy. One tip with this, so the adhesive for the stickers is really, really good. I like to tamp it off either on my hand or on a fuzzy cloth first, just to make sure that it's not super, super sticky. But if you do forget and you do leave it on your block, it can stay stuck. 2 ways that you can loosen it. You can just take your fingernail and gently pry, or you can grab your take your pick tool, use the spatula end, and then gently pry it as well. You want to make sure that when you do it, you go between the sticker and the block. If you don't, you can tear away the red rubber from the sponge. And if you do that, it's not covered under Stampin' Up! Warranty because it's considered user mistake. Okay, so I like the lines of this. So I'm going to go on an angle, straight up, straight down. And you may have noticed when I was inking up my stamp pad, it was just tap, tap, tap. Don't ever smush, because if you do smush, you could end up with a halo. And what a halo is, I'll show you, because I'm done with that stamp now. There's no danger of it happening. If you smush too hard, the halo, you'll get ink onto your block. You'll also get a nice little ring of ink around your stamp. And then, close this so nothing else bad happens. If you take your stamp and instead of just tapping, that wasn't a good impression, instead of just tapping to get your sentiment, if you push really hard, that's what you end up with. And I mean, it's not a big deal. It takes a little bit of time and a little bit of practice. But if you do end up with that, all you got to do is flip your card over and try again. There's a reason that there's two sides to cardstock. There is no wrong in art. All right. I'm going to bling this guy up just a little. We're going to use our in color dots again. I'm going to do 3. I like odd numbers. So, whoops, and I've got my stuck to me. All right. So we are finished our live demo part. Here's the 3 cards that we created. So we've got our beginner quick and easy stamp. Then we stepped it up a little bit by coloring and adding a layer. And then we stepped it up even more by using our die machine and creating this guy. So thank you so much for watching. I will now, as soon as this is over, I will pop over and put the link in YouTube and on Facebook so that you can find the event quickly and easily. As always, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you soon.